This is music, and this is another episode of Summer of Simon. Welcome to episode whatever of Summer of Simon. I can't remember what episode this is, but the Summer of Simon series is a sub-series of the First Impressions series. And in this sub-series, I follow up on two very generous VCLTs I was sent by none other than the Wangster himself, Simon, from the Pieface channel. Actually, in this video, I'll technically be following up on three VCLTs because I realized that there was one CD from VCLT that he sent me a long time ago that I actually never really talked about. So I figured I would include it in this one, and that's this one here. Seether, uh, holding on to strings, better left to fray. And this one starts out, I think, really strong, actually, with a very heavy song with a groovy kind of new metal riff. And I know new metal is not everybody's cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea either, but it was something different from all the other Seether stuff that I had heard before listening to this one. Um, Unfortunately, when we get to the chorus, they kind of fall back on their formulaic butt rock kind of, missed the bus grunge style, if you know what I mean. That's a bit of a shame. And yeah, sure enough, most of the songs on here are your kind of post grunge butt rock songs, uh, with a couple of really good songs actually, and also a couple of riffs and stuff, even in some of the boring songs, a couple of riffs that are actually quite cool. So at the end of the day, to me, this is another kind of typical Seether boring butt rock. um, you missed the bus on the grunge movement, but somehow got popular anyway, style. But it does have a lot of bursts of things that are actually quite interesting. So there you go. This here is much more my cup of tea. This is Shredhead, and it is called Death is Righteous. So this is thrash metal with a lot of elements of groove metal, but also a lot of elements of death thrash, like old school death thrash, and it works very well. This mix of just like early 90s death thrash, maybe even late 80s death thrash riffage, combined with heavier, groovier styles of riffs, and then like straight up thrash metal. So this is great. I really enjoyed this one. You even have some very fast parts every now and then. So this was good fun, just fun thrash with like elements from different eras of thrash in a way. Like I said, groove, death thrash, old school thrash as well. So yeah, this was great. Even a little bit of crossover. I really enjoyed this one here. Shredhead. And this one here too, actually. Silius. And this one is called Worship to Extinction. Also, straight up thrash metal, no nonsense, fast and aggressive, with some very fast parts, drawing on modern thrash and more traditional thrash as well. So this is another super solid, very enjoyable thrash metal release for sure. So yeah, I had a blast listening to these two here. That was great. Um, and then a change of style. Stars by Simply Red. Yeah, Simon sent me a copy of a Simply Red album, and I'm not gonna lie, I do think Stars is a good kind of chill pop song. This is not music I gravitate to normally, but I think it's for pop music. I think it's good. A lot of it is kind of, soft and sappy in a way, but there are a couple of really like, funky songs on the opening track. Something Got Me Started has a lot of actually really cool funky elements, and it's kind of upbeat. Um, and I think it's Freedom as well, which is also kind of funky and an upbeat song. So you got some of those, like, uh, yeah, more fun songs. So I don't think this is a bad pop album at all. It's not something I will listen to a lot, but I did enjoy actually, a handful of the songs on here. So that's nice. And up last in this video, we have this one here, Sinner, One Bullet Left. This one took me by surprise because compared to the classic Sinner albums, this one is really heavy. Um, it's a little bit like some of the more recent Pretty Mates albums that are, surprisingly heavy. You still have a lot of melody, you still have a lot of like hard rock, but you also have this heavy guitar tone and some modern, just straight up heavy metal stuff going on. Uh, what I think is really interesting is that there's clearly a big influence from Thin Lizzy on this one, on the vocals, the twin guitars. You have some heavy songs, you have some hard rock songs, you have kind of like almost like borderline power metal in some of the songs with double bass drums and stuff. So I think this was a great album. It took me by surprise. I enjoyed how heavy it was, but also how much like old school hard rock you had on here. The vocals are really dark. That took me by surprise too. Just I mean the quality of his voice, if you know what I mean. So this was a great listen as well. So yeah, very enjoyable with some butt rock for sure, but also some thrash metal, two thrash metal albums, and a great, just heavy hard rock album, and Simply Red Stars as well. So there you go. Thanks for watching.